Hello, babies. It is I, the Hood Dalai Lama, and I am back. Okay. I first want to say please like, comment, share, subscribe, follow, join the tribe, depending on where you find me. Also, remember to take what resonates, leave what does not, worry about nothing, pray about everything. Yes, my messages are sporadic because they are downloads moving right into it. An unjust cause. Spirit said a lot of the things that you went through were completely unjust. Half the things that you experienced, you really for real wasn't even supposed to have experienced. Please excuse my little covers back here. I'm redecorating. Um, but yes, like a lot of the things that you went through, they were unjust. There was no justifiable reason as to why you went through it. I heard there is a holy, heavenly, spiritual council that has debated on the issue of your case for 7 years. So let's say for 7 years you've been experiencing an unjust amount of karma. Maybe you've always felt like for the past few years that like you try things and they fail, or you try to be friends with someone, the relationship ends up going awry. You build up a business, and then out of nowhere something completely out of your control takes that away from you. Like, you started the business at one point when there wasn't a particular law, and then now you're getting started and now there's this law that makes your business pretty much illegal, right? Those types of things started to happen to you, and you wondered to yourself, am I like hexed or something? No, you were never hexed. I rebuke that. We are not hexed at all. What you were going through was a past life transgression. You had to pay for something that you did in a past life. However, while you were going through this past life situation where you were having to pay for something that you did in a past life, you had a lot of individuals in this lifetime that made a mockery of this. It's giving beat them while they're down. Okay, so growing up and like all through school and things like that, you could have had classmates and things like that who liked picking on you or liked bullying you. And in the years after school, especially if you're in like a pretty small place, if you're in a big city, it's kind of hard to keep up with your classmates unless you're on social media. But if you're in a small town, for example, maybe your classmates were kind of able to keep up with your life after school, and a lot of people hated you right after school because you were someone, you weren't the person that went and got married immediately. You weren't the person that went and had kids immediately. You were the one who focused on yourself and progressing. 12:22 on the clock on 2:22. Today is 2:22. Give it up for the portal. So you had a lot of old classmates and ex-lovers who monopolized off of your season of drought, who monopolized off of your season of lack, who monopolized off of your season of being the short end of the stick. And so that was completely unjust. And what do I mean by that? Let's say for 7 years you were supposed to learn a karmic lesson about relationships. Maybe in a past life, you harmed your lover. Okay, you got to think like if this is a past life and it happened before, back in the day, people was really killing their partners. Like they was really like unaliving their partners, like pew pewing them, poisoning them, setting them up for unalivings, with hitmen and stuff like that. That kind of stuff happened a lot back in the day. So let's say in this lifetime, you had to come back to pay for having executed a lover, right? And so in this lifetime, for a few years, you seemed hermit. You seemed like you were just single and alone and like to yourself. While you were single and alone and to yourself, all those people outside of you who've hated you since you were a kid, who have followed you this whole time, who were keeping up with your every move, they became very upset. Because in the season where you were single, they would have paid good money to be single. They had already gotten married. They had already gave up a lot of their liberties and their freedoms to another person. They had already had this person's children and couldn't move the way you were able to move because you didn't have a child. Or maybe you only had a small child, one small child, or maybe you weren't a parent at all, but you were a guardian, right? You took on a sibling's responsibility. Maybe that sibling passed away and you had to adopt that child. So maybe you didn't go dance on Broadway because you weren't able to go dancing on Broadway. You had to take care of your sibling's child or your child. They loved that, but that was never enough, okay? Because whenever you went into this season of drought, they all gathered around and spectated about the fact that you were going through something. And they hated you because growing up, I'm getting, you could have been someone that was a pushover when you were a kid, but like as you got older, you became like top dog for real. And you were knocking people over the top of the head for the most part. And they hated you for that. A lot of people that were not able to physically get at you, I'm hearing got hands. If you don't got hands, you always had like crazy stuff happen to people who didn't like you. Like if a person didn't like you, like they would literally like have a car breakdown like the next day. And everybody was like, oh, she's a witch, or she's, she does evil things. And you weren't. It was just your spirit team protecting you. Because I'm getting, you were very passive. If you were the type in school that got bullied, you just kind of sat there and you just let them say what they wanted to say. But as you got older, you started to speak up for yourself and advocate for self and other people. And when you began to do this, you pissed people off. Because what came along with that delivered throat chakra was the ability to defend yourself. And I'm getting that you didn't fight fair. If you fought to the death, literally. And a lot of people could not beat you, so they didn't like you. And so when you started to struggle, all these people began to gather around you and watch you, and like I'm getting a lot of evil eye energy. You could have had, if you've been to a shaman or a priest, a pastor, someone who prays for people and like delivers them from dark energies and spirits, breaks soul ties, things like that. You could have visited someone like this. I'm getting auntie very heavily. I'm also getting Native American. So you could be Native American and your aunt could be a shaman. And you came to visit this person, and when she looked at you, she could see that you had a lot of evil eye energy being sent to you. This was all of those people before that were not able to conquer you. And so in this lifetime, these people also could have been like past life Opps that followed you into this lifetime. If you wonder where like monitoring spirits come from and like why some people like get monitored and watched by certain entities and beings, it's because in a past life that person was probably your opposition. I'm getting like wild wild west energy. If you're from that time, if that was your last lifetime, you were an undertaker, right? Out west. Nobody liked seeing you because they knew when you showed up it was time to hit the casket, right? And so people feared you. And then you came back in this lifetime as this very calm, quiet, timid, docile to yourself type of person. And all of those past life Opps decided this is our lifetime. This is the lifetime where we're going to make divine feminine, divine masculine's life a living hell. If you wonder why you were born and it seems like shit keeps happening to you, or you're always struggling, you're always going through something, rest assured it gets better. But you've got to heal your dark side. You've got to heal your bloodline trauma. You've got to heal your past life traumas. And you've really got to get into alignment with source in order to elevate out of the karmic cycles that you're abiding in. And so with that, I hope this message helps whoever it is for today. Remember that spirit loves you, I love you, and I am the Hood Dalai Lama, and I'm out.